Welcome guys, this is Nox. Welcome to my T12 guide for Final Coil of Bahamut. This is going to be an overall guide with a particular focus on White Mage abilities on occasion. So as you can see at the start we have labeled A, B and C. This is going to be for the Blackfire mechanic that comes in once we start phase 1. In this phase tanks will stack A, i.e. the off tank, not the main tank. He's going to be standing at an imaginary D, which would be between A and C. Both healers will stack on B and the DPS will stack C. This is essentially because what's going to happen is a Blackfire will drop on each of these groupings. They need to be this sort of far apart. If they're too close, they will cause each other to AoE. If they're too far away, you're not going to be able to bane the dots from Scholar or Summoner, if you have one, to the Blackfires. So, tanks are going to get hit quite hard throughout this fight. You're going to want to be stone skinning every revelation. What's going to happen once you enter into the fight, as you'll see, a Bennu is going to spawn sort of 2 to 3 seconds after that. You're going to get a revelation on the main tank. What you'll want to do as White Mage specifically is stone skin that revelation. You really have to stone skin that. The damage from these becomes absolutely ludicrous later on, so you need to get into the habit of stone skinning those now. To prep the cure, you want to prep a cure 2 after that, so you're looking at watching the cast bar. When it gets to about the hour of revelation, you want to start that cure 2 cast. It should hit sort of just after the revelation hits, depending on your cast speed. Okay, another quick note with Blackfires is that you don't want to move out of the Blackfire until you see it drop. If you move too early, the Blackfire is not going to drop on the marker, which means it's going to be outside of the Bane range, and it's not going to work when we try and drop Whitefires. The way you stack Whitefires is that one person from each of those groupings, i.e. off tank, one healer, and one of the DPS, will get the Whitefire buff. What you want to do is place these party members in such a way so as to hit all the Blackfires at least once, preferably twice. So if you watch when we do it, we place the healer in between A, B, the DPS goes between B, C, and the tank will go around A on the sort of the AD side. This allows the B stack to get hit twice, the A stack to get hit twice, the C stack gets hit once. This is once again just speed, trying to keep the DPS up. It's quite a tight fight. You want to aim for sort of 4 Bennu spawning. 4 is going to be really good for you when you hit phase 3. 5 is sort of average, 6 is the max you can get. At 6 you're going to hit 16 stacks, which is going to sort of wipe you if you're really not fast in phase 3. Okay, so it's pretty much rinse repeat from this point. Tanks will be switching every revelation because of a debuff that's gained. So Bennu will spawn, first one will be tanked in the middle, killed there. After the revelation you can tank swap at any point. Then you're going to want to have the new off tank pick up the Bennu and take him to northwest. Then the Bennu after this is going to be southeast. After that southwest, then northeast, and then pretty much east. Hopefully you won't get 6 Bennus, so you can hopefully ignore that number. Aim for sort of 4. Okay, as you come into phase 2, there's going to be a new move called Brand of Purgatory. This is going to be a swap mechanic which you're going to ideally swap between both healers in this phase. So it'll randomly spawn on one of your party members. This will be picked up by one of the healers. I would recommend just kind of having one person do it all the time because of this horrible thing called server lag. If you have 2 people moving at once, the brand doesn't get passed, it then explodes and everybody dies. It's really horrible. So yeah, it's going to spawn on a random party member. The first time you see Flames of Unforgiveness, you're going to want to have that person run into the person with the brand. That will swap the brand over. You then need to heal the person that used to have the brand. The brand will do an initial sort of spike damage of like 4 to 6k, after which you need to heal before the end of that cast. If you don't heal before the end of the cast, they're going to get another spike damage of sort of 2 to 3k, which will kill them. You want to aim to stone skin the person with the brand, preferably before each passing. So I tend to time it after red fires. So if you watch the Phoenix rotation, he'll go red fire revelation. You have time to stone skin the tank during the first red fire, heal for the revelation, then stone skin the person with the brand, which will be just before the Flames of Unforgiveness switch. The other mechanic you've got to deal with here is going to be your red fires and blue fires. As you see, we take Phoenix off to the west the moment we hit phase 2. This is specifically so that we can drop the blue fire in the middle of the arena, allowing our summoner to pick that up and then intercept the red fire. Red fire will spawn randomly on one of your party members. We tend to have this person just sort of stand still. Summoner, which is our blue fire person, will pick up the blue fire, intercept the line on the red fire, hit the red fire whilst having the blue fire debuff. It cancels each other out, you don't get a raid-wide damage. If you don't have the blue fire when you hit the red fire, you're going to have raid-wide damage. It's going to add a debuff which is going to burn everyone, and you're pretty much going to wipe. So coming into phase 3, there's going to be a new move from Phoenix called Flames of Rebirth. He's going to sort of fly up and land in the north position. All of the Benus you killed earlier are then going to respawn. Now, when these Benus respawn, they're going to respawn as like a sort of revived Benu first. You're going to have to kill them once, and then they're going to respawn as a big Benu. When the Benus do revive each time, they're going to have like a sort of AoE range in which they will buff any other Benus by them. You don't want this to happen. It's a bad buff. Just don't let that happen. You'll notice that as we kill them, we try to aim to kill a small Benu just after a Flames of Rebirth has gone off. This is because after each Flames, it will resurrect any dead Benus. So you want to aim to kill a small one starting either west or south, just after the Flames has gone off. Then you move all of them over to the opposite one. So if you started at west, you will move to south. If you started at south, you will move to west. This is because, like I said, when a Benu comes back to life, AoE sort of range for a buff, it's bad times. As a healer in this phase, it's going to be a lot of damage. Initially, it's not too bad. Tanks take a few big hits. They'll want to be like cooldowning quite a bit because there's going to be lots of Benus. As the Benus decrease, though, the AoE damage increases. The more the stacks go up, the more damage Flames does. So when you start getting sort of 8 to 10 stacks, you're going to want to be Divine Sealing those Medica 2s. Prior to that, you pretty much just want to keep Medica 2 up the entire phase. And you'll want to aim at getting a big Benu down to sort of half health for each Flame. So you can half health a big Benu, Flames hits, kill a small Benu, run over, and then kill the big Benu before the second one spawns. You don't want to have 2 big Benus up at once either. Once again, buffs, bad times. You're going to be adding stacks to Phoenix. The more stacks, once you get to 16, 16 is wipe. If in phase 3 you do hit 16 stacks, you will die. There is no way to survive it. 14 is just about survivable, but painful. So once again, lots of bubbles. Yeah. So coming into phase 3, you're going to be getting that Brand of Purgatory back. There's going to be a new mechanic called Fountain of Fire, and there's going to be these little mini Phoenix things. So these Phoenixes will randomly target a member of the party. They will dash towards them, knocking them for about half of their health. You'll want to try and aim these away from the majority of the party. The person who's getting hit can't really avoid the attack unless they have some like mana wall. Brand in this phase, we take off the healers and we start moving this to tanks. So the first person will randomly get Brand, and we'll have the off tank stand in the first Fountain of Fire. Fountain of Fire, you need people to stand in to take the stacks, otherwise they go to Phoenix. Once again, 16 stacks equals soft enrage and pretty much wipe, which you'll see at the end of this video. So off tank will take the first 3 stacks in the Fountain of Fire. Then you can organize it between yourselves who takes 2, 2, and then 1. It's 8 stacks in total to get rid of. We keep our melee on Phoenix the entire time for damage purposes, so we divide the last stacks between whichever healers or range DPS are close enough. As I was saying, the first Brand, when the off tank is in the Fountain of Fire, first Brand will run in to the off tank who's in the fountain. This will pass the Brand over to him, and then the tanks will switch between themselves, as well as tank switch Phoenix on every Flames of Unforgiveness. So as you'll see, Cos switches the Brand over, Xena then picks up Phoenix, but of course don't forget the damage that comes from the person who had the Brand. So of course Xena had the Brand before, he's going to need a big heal. It'll coincide with the Flames, and Phoenix's standard attacks do hit quite hard, so be really careful. Once again, for any revelations in this phase, you're going to want to stone skin the main tank and ensure that the party is topped off at sort of all occasions. If anybody dies in this phase, there will be a small line coming from their corpse to Phoenix. This is a bad line. It's going to start adding stacks to Phoenix, which of course will increase the overall AoE damage. Essentially bad times. Once again, 16 stacks, bye bye. Phoenix will occasionally jump up. She'll do it twice in the fight, where at a percentage she will jump. Then there will be these pools around the outside. Nobody needs to stand in the pools. They're simply there to kind of make it more difficult to move the line Phoenixes. just be careful where you stand, try not to hit the other party members. Tanks can take these line attacks. They can only take like 2 to 3 of them without dying, so if you have to hit anyone, aim them at a tank. Once again, Y-Mage wise, you're going to want to be keeping Medica 2 up this entire phase, pretty much. Early on it's not too bad, but as Phoenix's stacks increase, it gets worse and worse. So yeah, that's pretty much turn 12. You'll see at the end of the video, we made a huge mistake, people died, Phoenix got a lot of stacks, then taking the fountain buffs, I died, lots of people died. Luckily our healer had the accessory built around Vit, so he survived. Both tanks survived, and they managed to finish it off with Phoenix at 16 stacks. Not the cleanest kill, it was our first kill though, and I figured I'd sort of use it to show you the kind of damage that will come from 16 stacks of Phoenix. So, yep, pretty much it. Hope you found it somewhat helpful. Any questions, feel free to ask, leave it in comments, or drop me a message in-game or Twitch or wherever. Yeah, good luck with T12, and I hope you found this helpful.